Hello.
Hello. How is everyone? We are live with Incantations and Elixirs. Incantation meets
Hello, you
cocktails.
Susan.
Are you there?
You hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Susan. I can hear you like you sound like a robot.
Maybe I am. Okay. Is that better?
I can hear you like you sound like a robot.
You sound strange too. You sound strange.
Hello.
Okay, better.
Do I sound strange?
No, you sound better now.
I can't hear you on this, but
I'm getting feedback though.
I don't know what's going on.
This is like the cell phone commercial.
I don't know what's going on here with my connection.
It must be on your end then. Hello, Ron. Hello, everyone. This is Incantations and Elixirs, where conversation meets cocktails. We are here tonight with my good friend, Anthony Simonelli, as my co-host, who's obviously not having a great time right now, but hopefully he'll be back soon. I'm Maureen Grodzinski, owner and operator of Elixirs, and I'm sorry for my voice tonight. I'm not doing so well, obviously. Let me bring Ron or Anthony back in. There he is. Are you better? I think you have.
Am I back?
Yeah, you were behind a little bit.
I don't see you.
You don't?
Am I back? Yeah, you were behind a little bit. I don't see you. You're black on my screen.
Really?
You're black on my screen.
I'm still
I'm going to
hearing
try one more time.
Like feedback.
I'm going to leave and come back, okay?
Okay.
No, what's going on here? I can't get off.
Ron said you're not in your car. Maybe
I'm going to change. I'm going to change phones. I'm going to change phones.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm not in my car. I'm trying my bedroom over here. It's not doing that good for me. That's the problem. I'm not in my car. I'm trying my bedroom over here. It's not doing that good for me. That's the problem. I'm not in my car. I'm trying my bedroom over here.
Okay, so while we're waiting for Anthony, tonight we're supposed to have an amazing guest. His name is Doug Goodfeather. Doug is actually a direct descendant of Sitting Bull. He is a Lakota Sioux shaman and healer. He joined the military, I believe it was at the age of 30, because Lakota Sioux are actually warriors. So when he joined the military, he realized how important it was to help the veterans. So he opened a healing center in Colorado. And I'm sorry for my voice, guys. He opened a healing center to help take care of the veterans. And to be able to fund that, he started his own clothing line. He is a musician. He's a healer. He has several different things going on, and he's absolutely amazing. He wrote a book. He may actually have several. We can talk to him about that. But he's an inspirational speaker, and he continued the path of his indigenous ancestors and people. He's actually has 2 locations in South Dakota and Colorado. And he's very well known throughout the country. He's blown up so big that he needs to rent out the Denver Super Stadium. Let me get Anthony back on here. Are we good? Anthony, you back?
No.
No?
Oh boy.
Is it your usual phone you use?
You're trying to. I'm still freezing up with you.
I wonder why this is happening.
You might.
Huh. Our bigger problem is that our guest isn't here.
Oh.
Can you hear me now? Can you do it without the headphones?
I understand what's going on.
Can everyone else hear? I'm sorry. Hi, Andy. So everybody's having a problem. It's got to be Anthony then, if everybody's not having trouble with me. I'm just concerned that Anthony's not going to be able to connect, and then we're not going to have Doug sign in either. Let me get Anthony back to see if we can. You good?
You hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm just having a little difficulty here. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Well,
can you hear me now?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes.
Awesome.
I know what happened.
So what did you do? It's your fault.
I have no idea what I did. I just punched a button, hit a bunch of buttons, and now I can hear you. Before you sound like a robot and you were freezing up on me.
Well, that would be not unusual for me, especially sounding like this. I mean, I'm a lot better than I have been over the last several days. So if this is the best you're going to get today, it'll just get worse from here. But I was explaining to everyone about our guest.
I'm sorry about all this.
That's okay. I mean, we're working out the kinks. It's only what, episode 6? Which again, Ron, I'm sorry, I forgot to add episode number to it. Our guest is not signed on yet, which I'm a little concerned about that because I told everyone who he is and what he's about, but he's not signed on and he's from a different time zone, not a different planet. So I'm wondering if I should excuse myself for a second and make a phone call quick and you can talk. What do you think? I mean, we know you can talk, so that's not an issue. You could tell like a ghost story or something.
Yeah, how many hours away? Where is in South Dakota or?
Well, he has a South Dakota location and a Colorado location, but I did send him the link. I'm just wondering, I mean, he's a musician, he's a clothing designer, he's a speaker, he has
you're breaking up again on me.
The Headway program for the veterans. So I'm wondering if he's so busy that he forgot or.
You're breaking up again. I don't know.
Maybe in your car would be better.
Let me see one more time what I got to do here. Okay. Can you hear me now? Or yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Do you think I should run out and call? And you could, Ron said maybe you could talk about your upcoming events while I make a quick phone call.
I really got not much, but yeah, I could talk about what I got. Some of the stuff that's coming up.
How's your Wi-Fi at your house?
I just went on regular phone because my Wi-Fi is. That was my problem.
Okay.
So
do you want to just talk? Do you want to tell a story about something you saw that you didn't expect to see, or? I mean, you could talk about whatever you want to talk about. I shouldn't be long, I don't think.
Well, today I got a call from one of my friends that's actually
okay, I'll be back.
He's actually he writes he draws spirits as he goes to somebody's house and he can see people's family and he draws them. So they're doing an event in the Ritz Theater down in Jersey on I think it's April 14th, 2030. 2030. My God, I just went to the future, didn't I? wow, 2023, and he asked me to show some of my drawings, which I thought it was pretty cool, you know. So I'm gonna be there with him showing some of my drawings. Um, Events, I will be going to Hinchdale um, in May, with Juan and Lourdes. Um, it's actually for Lourdes' birthday, so we're going to go there for her birthday and enjoy that. Hinchdale, it's in Hinchdale, New York. It's one of my favorite places to go. It's so active. Um, uh, and then I'll be at Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. That's going to be in July. Let me get the dates on that. July. Sorry about this. I didn't expect to be talking by myself right now. July. July 14th, 15th, and 16th. The Gettysburg Battlefield Bash is an awesome event. If you guys get to go there, I recommend it highly. So it should be fun going to go to that. And also, I just did an event with Ron, Lourdes, April, my friend Rich. We did actually Rich Theater in Jersey, and it was an experience. Very very nice place. Nothing I didn't find anything that's going to be bad or evil or anything like that. It's nothing there. We came across the spirit of a young girl that used to actually perform in the theater as a young girl. There's no signs of any young girl passing in the place or anything like that. We also came across a man with a large man, and he was cursing a lot on some of the equipment. I know Ron Iacovetti, and he got some of the stuff that the guy was cursing at them. In the '70s, that theater was actually made into a porno type theater. So maybe that's one of the spirits that was behind from that point. You know, it was made in 18. What was they say? 1820, something like that. It's an very old theater. It's a nice theater. They got events going on there all the time. So if you're in that area, Rich Theater in Jersey, I'd look into some of the events that's going. I know Ron and Lourdes are going to have an event there with his spirit box, with his what's it called? Oh man, they're gonna kick my ass if I don't know this. The DRV, or DRC, Direct Communication Radio, DCR. So they'll be there in January. So look, some of the stuff that might be going on there. So and you're back.
Okay, so I spoke with Ed. He said he was a little bit confused. He's been moving, so he's going to be getting on right now.
Oh, okay.
So sorry about that, everyone.
Yeah. I just bored him with a bunch of stuff, gibberish I just talking about. So, yeah.
I figured, because I see that Andy's wondering where everybody is.
It's like, everyone, what's going on? I had a hard time getting on tonight, and
so
one of those evenings.
Yeah. Another technical issue tonight, which, sorry about that, everyone. I'm not feeling well, and I'm surprised I'm not spewing Alka-Seltzer like a bad christening.
Not yet, which I'm a little concerned about that.
And Doug is getting to his email right now. So he was in the process of moving. I'm hoping that he's not like tripping over boxes trying to get to us, but he'll be here in a second.
So
I don't know if he'll be able to stay with us the entire time, but I'm going to try to get as much information out of him as possible as far as spiritualism. He should be here any second. I told him that we had an interview tonight. He's like, where? And I said online. So he was like a little bit off with that too. But, you know, in a wide world of having 8 million things to do at the same time, you kind of, that's how our lives go. And Christmas is coming, so.
Yeah, tell me about it. My wife's birthday's tomorrow, so I had to get a bunch of stuff together for that. I'm having a little get together on Saturday for her, and so I had to get all that together this week, and I had a couple doctor's appointments, so I had a busy week.
That was so. How was her birthday? Happy birthday, Mrs. Simonelli.
Yeah, her name's Laura. She'll be well, her birthday's tomorrow, Zach, you know. So I can't say her age because she would kill me.
Don't do that. She's a lady. We don't like to have that.
No. She's 25 forever.
21.
Yeah, you like 21?
I like, well, maybe not 21. We're still like too young at that point.
So, have you been going on anything this week?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I've been fighting nightmares.
Oh, you were sick this week. That's right.
Yeah, I've had some. Oh, here's Doug. Okay, so now we don't have to chit chat for too long. We can chit chat afterwards.
Okay.
Hi, Doug. Sorry to bother you. Oh, we can't.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. We're sorry to bother you during your move.
No, it's okay. How you guys doing?
We really appreciate you being here. This is my great co-host and good friend, Anthony Simonelli.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi, nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
We have a lot of people waiting to talk to you and ask you questions. So I've already kind of introduced you and I've told them a little bit about you after I've done my research. My husband's really excited to watch this as well, just so you know. So we've established, are you the grandson or great-grandson of Sitting Bull?
I'm one of many, but great-grandson.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is what I was really interested in. So you joined the military at the age of 30?
Yes.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. So
thank you for your service.
Did you do that because the Lakota Sioux are just warriors by nature, or is there more behind that?
It's based on a rite of passage that goes down through history. And it's basically an innate, for me, it was an innate calling, but also it was the role models that were in my life, that were warriors, that were veterans, and the way they taught me of the way of the warrior. And so, it really influenced me to, wanted to complete that rite of passage in my life. And so I joined the military in 2000. And I did 8 years in the United States Army. I did 2 combat tours in Iraq, which I'm not proud of, but I'm proud of being in the military. I'm proud of being a veteran and serving my country. But that war, I'm not very proud of.
I think it still helped a lot of people. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
And since then, you've taken the liberty to help a lot of veterans because of that. And that's how you opened up its Headway.
Mm-hmm. Well,
how do you help them?
I do a lot of counseling for them. I do counseling, PTSD counseling, because I know that I have that same experience. And so I went to college, but I also learned it through my own practice, giving back that way. I was taught that once you become that part of society, the warrior society, you're always a warrior for the rest of your life, because you don't make an oath to just humans. You make it to the Great Spirit and for the people. And so that continues on for the rest of your life. So that's why I do what I do, is because of that oath that I made, and to remember my brothers and sisters who didn't come home. So they didn't die in vain. Not that just them, but my ancestors as well. And to know that, the things that I do is in remembrance of them.
Do you remember as a child, do you remember feeling like you were a healer?
Well, there's a lot of things that happened in my life through my teachings and my upbringing. And there's a lot of things my elders would do and tell me that when I was older, but they would always want me to do things when I was a little boy. And there would be a lot of elders sitting in a room, and I would come in and they would bring me in, and they would always ask me to pray. And for some reason, they would always ask me to pray, and they would just want me to talk. And what I've learned when I was a little boy is that when I would speak about things, it would happen. Or I would know that someone would be sick or something. And so I guess maybe I was in that aspect, and I didn't know back then. But there's a lot of things in my life that led up to where I'm at today and how that came about.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. I respect a lot of the your culture, and I was always interested in the culture. They have powwows. I'm in Queens, New York, so that's too many. So they do have powwows around here once in a while, and I go to them, and I'm just amazed at the spiritual. Just going there, you could feel the spirit in you of when they with the drums and the dance and the head dressings and everything. Something I was always interested in stuff like that, and it makes you feel good. It really does.
Yeah.
The spirit, and it just uplifts you.
Yeah.
We're very close to the Poconos, so we have a lot of Native culture here. So my interest is in you being a shaman and the spiritualism behind your culture, and everyone has a core belief in some way, no matter who they are. What is the core belief behind the Lakota Sioux culture?
Well, we're basically spiritual people, and our road of life is to just be a good human being in life, and do our best to be a part of this world as it changes, and try to remember our children, because what I know now is what I'm learning is that we always, 7 generations ago, people thought of us too, even you guys.
Mm-hmm.
They thought of my people, thought of the 7 generations ahead. They always thought like that, 7 generations. And that 7 generations is here now. It's today. So now it's our turn. Now it's our turn to begin our 7 generations. So we have to look 7 generations ahead of us. So these are our children that are not even here yet. So we need to always think like that, because when we're just thinking about about ourselves, then we're not thinking about others. Because it's important to understand that it is good to take care of ourselves, because it makes you ready to take care of others. And so as we see this modern day, this world changing into a modern world, we want to remember that our children are still coming. So we want to think of them. So we prepare for them. We take care of our Mother Earth. We take care of each other, because we want them to come into this world to enjoy this life, but as we see it now, it's in turmoil. But at the same time, there's always, what I've witnessed in my life is that these turmoils, there's a reason for it before the balance comes into play.
Mhm.
And so, and in my spiritual beliefs and our Lakota spiritual beliefs is to always take care of the people. You take care of the people, but you have to take care of yourself. If you have a big responsibility like that, you must take care of yourself from the mind, the longest journey, mind to the heart. You have to take care of the mind, the heart, and the body. Exercise, eat right, think right, walk what you say, walk your talk, always be willing to, help in a good way. But it's always putting the people, taking care of the people, and our Mother Earth. And so these are our core beliefs, to take care of the people and our Mother Earth.
It's funny. I always tell my children that you have to take care of yourself first, or you can't take care of anyone else after that, because you're completely depleted. There's nothing else to give. So take care of yourself first, and don't let narcissists feed off of you, because there are other people that truly want the help. There's nothing else left to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got to learn to respect yourself before you could start respecting anybody else.
Exactly.
That's how I feel. If you don't respect yourself, how can you show respect for anybody else? And respect is a big thing to show.
That's very true.
So,
Yeah.
See,
the number 7 seems to be a big number for you.
Say that again.
The number 7, it seems to be a very big number for you.
It is. It's I always put it on my signature, like when my book, it's called Think Indigenous.
Uh-huh.
And then when I sign it, I put lines on a horse. It represents the 7 generations. But it's also a sacred number, not only in our culture, but it's universal. It's a universal sacred number. And it always adds up to sacred geometries as well. It's part of the numbers in a sacred way of that way. So
in a lot of religions, 7's a big number.
yeah. See, so yeah, I use that a lot. My theories and my teachings, my philosophies, and so I use that number a lot.
Yeah. I watched one of you something on Facebook that you had on there, and it was you something you made. What was it? A blanket or something, and the design for a horse. And you said the horse took you into battle, and the horse was your, took you to battle and took you from battle, and you showed respect to the horse. And I heard that, I'm like, you don't think about it because it's an animal, but it's a spirit too, and it was something that that you used to help you go back and forth and to live, just through daily life, to go to to hunt, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you don't think about it. This day and generation. I jump in my car and all over the place. But back in generations with the horse, and I'm a city kid, so I don't know too much about horses. I know about subways, rats, and stuff like that.
It was like Brooklyn Queens kind of kid.
Hey, but coming from the city, the generations that that I come from are all pretty much city kids and city So when I heard that, and thinking about, something that, that horse is so important, and it's nature. I love nature and everything. So and nature's all I get starstruck. But
that horse, that those designs. I work with this company called Faraday Brand, and they're the ones who I'm designing for. but a lot of the proceeds go all the way back to my nonprofit. So
Awesome.
it just goes right. Even the book I wrote, Think Indigenous, it goes back
Mm-hmm.
into the nonprofit as well. So everything
Mm-hmm.
that I do is I try to, because I'm building something. I'm building something to create for the people, to help them to understand
Mm-hmm.
that you can do this. I mean, I started from nothing, just a dream, just a vision, and that's what it took. I mean, and it turned into a goal, and now it's my destiny, because the reason why I realized that is it knocks over everything, all my obstacles that came and blocks, it just knocked
Mm-hmm.
them out of the way. But it also made me figure it out. It made me intelligent as well, because
Mm-hmm.
this vision really, it has brought me all over the world, and I've met millions of people, have helped thousands of people through this vision quest and this vision, and this dream that came. And I've seen people stand up from their deathbeds, and come out of addictions, and come from abuse, and come from PTSD, and standing up and living again, and
Mm-hmm.
I've seen all of these things happen because of this vision, and it doesn't, it just keeps getting better and stronger. And I was told that as long as I do this work, I'll never be homeless, I'll never be poor, I'll always be taken care of. So when I
Mm-hmm.
started this work, I had nothing. I was just me. So when I started it, I mean, I was a single dad as well. When I started it, it just started taking care of me. It gave me all these opportunities, but it also taught me to think and to figure things out. So that's what I teach, because a lot of times when I see people, they give up. They give up and quit, But sometimes when those things happen, you have to figure it out. It might have to go another way, but you're going to get to your goal as long as you have a goal,
Yeah.
And so that's why I do what I do, is because it's really important to see that. And that's my thank you. That's how I receive my thank you, is to see these people smiling and happy, and I don't charge anybody to help them,
Mm-hmm.
because it's what I get is from, I get it from the people, and I just give it back, as it comes in. I give it back
Mm-hmm.
and do the work. I do the work. And because of that, because of these dreams and this vision, it brought in that Faraday brand. It brought in the book. It brought in different things, different organizations, relationships with people, that really taught me there's good people out there, and that this way doesn't see it sees what it sees. It sees all color, and it sees the beauty in everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I help all people, because this is we're in this modern day. This ain't the Wild West no more. We're together now. We gotta we
Yes.
gotta move that way, because
You're right.
when you have one stick, like you say, you have just one willow, you can break it. But when you have a lot, you can't break it. So together's
Mm-hmm.
better. Together's better,
Yeah.
and we move forward in life. So
Mm-hmm.
this vision quest coming from. So that's why I see a lot of things, and I tell people, when people get really depressed or having a hard time, I teach them how to look at it in a different way. Look at it in a different way. Look at it. You see it from a hard place. Now look at it in a positive. See what you can bring out of that thing that may be terrible, and bring it out and use a positivity. So, for example, growing up, I was in the foster care system, and I went through a lot of abuse, and then as I was growing up, I went through my own addictions, and I didn't, but I learned something from it. This spiritual road really taught me how to think and figure things out. So when I looked at that trauma, I said, okay, I'm practicing this trauma, so it's constantly happening for me. I'm always practicing it, thinking it, living it, acting it out, angry, turning into addictions to try to numb it. But I realized something, that it was it. So when the Western society teaches you, it teaches you backwards. That's what I figured it out, because when I looked at these traumas, there weren't traumas, there were teachers. But to us, there were traumas. And so we look at this trauma and we say, okay, what did I learn from this? And in my philosophy, I used the buffalo. And the buffalo is made to go into the storm because the way it's built and made, created. So when it goes into the storm, it can withstand the storm. Never runs, always goes into the storm because it knows it's going to come out sooner, faster than if it ran. So I tell people, say, when they come into the depression, or they come with me, come to a depression, if they're depressed or whatever they're going through, and I tell them, I say, okay, I'm going to take you into the storm. There in the storm, there's buffalo people. They're going to take you through the storm, but you got to go through it. The reason why you got to go through that storm is because there's people waiting for you on the other side. They're waiting for you to come out. Because when you go through that storm, you're learning, the process is happening. The healing process is happening. You're starting to know your feelings, emotions. It sucks. Of course, it's going to suck. You're going to cry, you're going to beg, you want to quit. But if you learn to understand these emotions that we're born with, if you learn the intelligence of these emotions, they're going to teach you more than being in pain. They're going to teach you how to use them. So that means you got to learn yourself. So we're born with such intelligence in our body, mind, and heart. We're born with such, and we're downloaded already with everything we need. And we can go get more knowledge. And we don't have to go to school. We can just go get knowledge in your sleep, in a vision quest, and learning how to think and think indigenous. You get more knowledge in that way. So when you go through the storm, the reason why these people are waiting for you, because you have wisdom now. You have wisdom because you know yourself. You have earned that right to understand that trauma you've been through. So now that trauma becomes a teacher. Now it becomes a healer. Now it's not a trauma no more. Now it's a healer. Now it's a teacher. Now, so you use that trauma. You use that experience to help those people that are, when you come out of that storm, that are waiting for you there. You're going to use that knowledge to start to heal them. You see? And if you just help one person, just think how many people you're going to help when you help just one person. The reason why is because that one person has family all around them, has friends, co-workers, people, just keeps growing. So just one person, if you help, you're going to help all these people, because that person is going to talk about you. That person is going to teach those teachings to them. So that's how you're going to start helping. So you have to think in a different way. And when we look at a lot of these traumas that we've been through, let's say we go through some kind of abuse, you go molestation, domestic abuse, physical, mental, and emotional abuse, religious and spiritual abuse. Those are put downs that you're this and you're that. So you start to learn all of this, starts to train you to that stuff. So these are the things that you grow up with, these traumas, and but you're gonna, and you wonder, how can you use these? How can you heal from them? Because you're not thinking. You're thinking. All you're doing is letting the pain control you. You're letting the issue control you now. Now that it's controlling you, you can't think. You're stuck in a box. And then everybody's throwing stuff at you too. Maybe medications, different theories, different this and different that. And so you're trying all of this, but it's just making you unhealthy instead. Because a lot of times people don't really know how to do that. They just know how to give you a pill. Because the work is hard. And people don't want to do the hard work. But in order to get someplace, you got to do hard work. So when hard work comes, you get used to it. And then hard work comes, and it's not hard work. It's good work. It becomes good work. So the intelligence we come through, the body starts to push all that depression up. But we think, oh no, I'm getting depressed now. I'm gonna lock myself in a room and go get drunk, get drugs, go eat, whatever. Then
Mm-hmm.
you oppress that depression again, right? Oppress it. You don't want to feel it. That's and you don't realize, but that's the intelligence of your body pushing it up, trying to get it out of you. So when you
Mm-hmm.
finally get it, then you'll allow it to come through all the way. That's the storm. That's the process. And people don't know that, how intelligent we are. We think people
Mm-hmm.
with a degree and all of this can teach us that just because they did a. No, you can teach yourself that because, we have innate knowledge, we have wisdom, we have experiences that we've been through that we're capable of doing that. We're capable of healing ourselves and others and helping each other that. But sometimes the construct comes in and teaches you something else. That's the crab in a bucket theory. That's when you're stuck in a bucket with all these crabs and you're trying to climb up, but they keep pulling you down. That's what's going on. But when you come out of that, when you come into a spiritual realm and you're walking, and I've learned this because I walked it, and I've been, and they say that my grandma used to say, we walk in two worlds. I said, how is that? And he said, because we walk in this Western way and we walk in our way. And so I'm going to teach you both, she said. You got to be educated in both. So I know multiple languages because of it. That's how intelligent we are. And I know there's kind of, so I know multiple languages, different ways to communicate. And this is the way I've learned. My parents taught me. And they taught me a lot of things about the intelligence of our environment, our Mother Earth, how we get our medicines, how we got them, how our philosophies work, like the Buffalo philosophies. That's one of my philosophies. And the longest journey of the mind to the heart, these are the things I've learned, and that some of the pharmaceuticals that are synthetic today used to be natural, but they came from
Mm-hmm.
our people, from learning from our medicines. And
Yeah, it sure did.
and some of those medicines came from watching animals. And so we experiment. So there was I guess there were scientists back in our day that were curious. There were botanists. There was different anatomy. I mean, because I know people were curious, so they looked at the anatomy. So we got intelligence from all of these things. And people make fun about the smoke signal. They say, "Oh, what about the smoke signal?" But just think how intelligent that is. That's so intelligent
I know it
to
is. It's
communicate.
communication.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
communicate.
that was so.
Yeah,
It is
no,
the
that's
first
beautiful.
telephone.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and you see on my designs, you see all these geometric designs. Those are mathematical and scientific. Those my people had those for thousands of years. So how did they get these things? How did they know about these things? How did they know these scientific things? How did we survive all these things, all this life? Some of the things, it was intelligence, and we figured things out. And just like the teepee, excuse me, the teepee's engineered to withstand a storm because of the way it
Mm-hmm.
is. So the storm wraps around it instead of going through it, pushing it over. It wraps around it,
Yeah.
and it just goes the other way. So that's intelligence.
That
So
was.
and so I sat around, and so when I practice, and I'm very scientific and mathematical, so every time I'm very spiritual because I understand that kind of that kind of philosophy. I witness
Mm-hmm.
it all the time, and so I understand some of these things, and then I figure it out. I try to, okay, why did that happen? Let me figure it out. Just like, for instance, the sweat lodge. We go into the sweat lodge. We use lava rocks, right? We use these lava rocks. Some of these lava
Okay.
rocks are hundreds, thousands of years old from volcanoes, old volcanoes that blew up and just kind of spewed them and scattered them all across the land. So we
Mm-hmm.
use them to go into the sweat lodge with. And I was really curious about it. I was curious about this lava rock. So I took a piece of the lava rock and I took it to Fort Collins, Colorado, to the science department, geologist department, and I had them study the minerals in it and see what the minerals are made out of. And because I wanted to know the scientific part of that, and that's just how I am. And so when the results came back, it was the ions and minerals in there are just like drinking spring water. And there's also
Wow.
cymatics stuck in there. So when you heat the rocks back up and you pour the water on it, it releases all those minerals, those ions, and those cymatics. So it goes back in you, and then you perspire, so you're pushing all the toxicities out. And it's teaching your heart also to be stronger. So it gives you longevity, but it also oppresses the PTSD. So it teaches the mind to come back into balance. So when I take PTSD veterans in there, or people with complex PTSD, I teach them that, how to understand that. So it oppresses it and it helps the PTSD. And then from there, start to teach them how to work with that and to live with PTSD, to live a productive, a good life without going into all these rages and without having episodes and flashbacks. And, I teach a lot of these veterans how to do that.
My father had the VH, he had that too. And, and later in life, it really caught up to him more than when he was younger. But I remember backfiring, like a car backfiring, he'd be jumping under the table. My father's from Korean. He was in the Korean War. So he went through that.
Yeah.
So I grew up with that in my my father having it. So
a lot of
and he wasn't really treated for it, nothing. So
well,
back then it wasn't as much. It wasn't back then. It wasn't known as much. It was called shell shock. It was called different names back.
Yeah.
So now it's understood more.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But it's great that you're doing that, Doug. Too many people go untreated, and I think the VA, there's only so much that they can do because they're so overpopulated and it's underfunded, and it's, there's only so much that they can do.
If you know people that have PTSD and are struggling, you can give them my number too. I can just talk to them on the phone too. Doesn't need to be in person.
Yeah, well, my father's, he's deceased, so I wish I knew this 10 years ago.
Well, but there's other vets now, so.
There's a huge misconception that the VA, they don't care. I think that that's not the case at all, because I've actually been to a VA hospital and I've seen the care that people get there. I've actually seen someone who passed away there, and the doctors and the staff and even the patients immediately stop everything that they're doing and they line up against the hallway walls and they salute as they get taken down the halls. So, there's a huge manner of respect for people, but I think that it's just they don't have enough of anything for anyone. So what you're doing is truly amazing because it's on a whole new level. So thank you for that. That's really.
Yeah, I do a lot of work with the veterans, and also go through the VA with some of my therapy too, because they, I mix it up, and they help me a lot, and they do care. They do. They help me, take care of me.
Yeah, and
I mean, they could do it
for everyone, but
yeah. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of veterans, and it needs to be more, because more VA hospitals or clinics, because there is a lot of veterans that need help. It's just a waiting period. That's all that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't even imagine being in that situation. And, there isn't even enough treatment period for, neurology or psychology or whatever the case may be, period. But to be a veteran and not have treatment, it's a disgrace for this country the way it is. So thank you for everything that you do.
You're welcome.
It's,
Mhm.
I can't even, thank you. Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not a crier. Can you tell us a little bit about fun stuff? I like ghosts.
Yeah, we're ghost hunters. Yeah.
Can you tell us anything about the shaman part of the spiritual aspect of spirits, or anything that you've seen that you think is kind of unknown or you can't explain? I'm so sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. I understand what you're saying. You know, the spiritual
Don't
work.
tell anybody this. Now that they've all seen it.
Well, the spiritual work I do is there's a lot of energy work, but it's also the knowing. You got to believe and know what you're doing, because one of the things that shortcuts us is our doubt. Our doubt really has a lot of um, a big part in our growth. And somebody can make you doubt in an instant, or you can make yourself doubt. But one of the things is believing and knowing that everything that you're doing is, you know, when you look at it in two different ways, you can look at it in a spiritual way, you can look at it in a scientific way. And the spiritual aspect, when I work with people with spiritual issues, like spiritual growth, you know, a lot of people have done that lately because of this COVID. And but a spiritual growth is the enhancement of your energy, and also the growth of your knowledge and wisdom, and your psyche and all of that. I guess you could say you become your sixth sense gets stronger as well. But a lot of people with that kind of energy, the body has a hard time getting used to it right away. So they go through a period of anxieties. This world's not real. It's things like that. They go through questions. They question themselves, everything that they've learned. Is it real, and all this? So it's the wisdom and the enhancement of that spiritual growth that's coming into your body, your mind, and your heart. But your body, mind, and heart are not used to it because it's human, it's physical. So it's got to get used to that energy, and it starts to get stronger. But you will, it will soak in. It will soak in, and so then you'll realize more things than usual. But also, when people going through, like, if something's happening to them, even in their home, things are moving, they're hearing things, dreams. There is, one of the things I've learned about ghosts and spirits, and people say, oh, is there a difference? And I believe there's a difference. And the ghost is a residual spirit, is a residual energy. So it's doing things just over and over. It doesn't have wisdom. It's lost. It's just stuck. So it's just doing this over and over.
Haunting.
So
it's a residual.
Yeah. So it's knocking things over. It sees us and it's angry, whatever. But the spirit has wisdom. It has knowledge. It has the right to be here because it went back over to the spirit world, but is able to come back and help in this plane, in this dimension, this life. So it's given the right to be here, to have that kind of influence and power. But it also works. It doesn't have any control over you. What a spirit does is it asks you for your permission to help you, because we have free will. It can't take it away from us. But if something's doing that, if something's touching you or you're seeing things and it's scaring you, you're getting goosebumps, then that's not good. That's a negative energy. And that's your body reacting to that negative energy. It's reacting because when something is positive, you don't react to it like that. You're just like, oh, I just witnessed something, but you're not scared of it because it's probably a relative or one of your helpers or somebody praying for you. So they came to
Spirit
look
guide.
in on. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a ghost is residual. It has different energies. It has more of an angry or like it's sucking out of you energy, and
Yeah.
because it
Drains
wants
you.
to, yeah, it wants to have that life again. So it's
Mhm.
angry or mad or things it didn't complete on its unfinished business. It didn't complete or
Mm.
something it forgot, something it's hidden, and it tries to either
Mhm.
show you or it doesn't want you to be there. So
I
it
don't know
tries
how
to
you
show you.
guys feel, but this is how I feel. I feel that regardless of what it is, that we're here like in flesh and body. So no matter what it is, we're still solid. So as long as we have enough faith and belief in ourselves, and I'm not talking about religious things, but we have enough faith in ourselves and enough belief in ourselves that we're strong enough and we're physical enough that it can't harm us as long as we believe that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes
Well,
perfect sense. But one of the
I've been to
things that
locations. I'm
no, go
been
ahead.
to locations where I actually got physically scratched, pushed, and everything. And so I've been to a lot of locations that, negative, old prisons and sanitarians and stuff like that. And you do have, and you feel the negativity. Sometimes I feel a spirit that's not negative, does just a spirit that wants you out of the location, like you're saying, will be like negative and try to hurt you, um, throw things at you, which I had my equipment thrown already and stuff at me. But I feel that not all spirits um, are bad, and because
I think it's
you
just
go when
angry.
you go to these places, yeah, you get they're more angry. And a lot of times, when I do a speech or speak about it, I tell people if you're sitting in your house, you're sitting on your chair in your house, and somebody just walks in and says, "Hey, I'm here. Who are you?" And they start telling you what to do and telling you have to go. You're going to fight back. So you're sitting there nice and positive. Now somebody comes in. Now you're going to turn negative and say, "Hey, you get out of my house." So that's why I think sometimes they want you out of the location and they come at you as like a negative spirit, or you know, and I've seen things happen in a lot of these locations, and something that a lot of it can't be explained, but I became across negative and positive. So you know,
As have
uh,
I.
yeah.
But I
So
think
I
that if
mean,
you say,
spirits. They can get physical with you, which I've been scratched, and
yeah, I
you
think
pull up
that
your
if
shirt
you
and you got a big
say,
scratch on you and stuff like that. So afterwards, you say your prayers and have, like you said, have faith in yourself. If you believe in yourself, and there's so much they could do to you. You
yeah,
know, you feel strong. Hey, you can't do that. You got to stop, and you just stick up for yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
I hear you
Either
say.
way.
But if you feel like you're strong enough that it's not going to do worse and
Mm-hmm.
scratch you or like, throw your camera at your face.
Well, let me tell you
Yeah.
something. Let me
When they
tell you
touch my
something. Let me
equipment, I
say
get mad
something.
because that's expensive
Of course
stuff.
they do.
And let me say something. Let me say something. One of the things that people do when they're cleaning their house out or getting rid of that energy is they're fighting it. They're fighting against it, and you don't do that. That's a mistake that people make all the time because a negative energy wants you to fight, wants that anger from you because it wants that energy. So you got to do the
Mm-hmm.
opposite. You got to pray for it. You got to,
Mm-hmm.
ask your helpers to come and guide this whatever it is out of there in a good way so it can go home. And but
Right. So you
if
just
you're
have that
angry with
faith
it,
in yourself and you're
yeah,
just strong in
because
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I've learned is you can't. Everything that we do today is always with anger. We're always angry. So we got to learn from everything. We're talking about these things. And we got to learn from them, educate, and people need to listen in order to learn each other. Because we all have a different teaching, but they have meanings to us. But some of them are not positive. Some of them are very negative.
Yeah.
And so a lot of these things, are taught to do negative things to whatever's. So like, let's go fight this. Let's go get it out of there. I this and that you, and you just, when you go there, you're just like, okay, I'm here to pray for you. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to fight you. Yeah.
It's just provoking them.
Yeah.
Provoking them more. Doug, what do you use to cleanse? Do you use sweetgrass? Isn't that what most Native Americans use?
Well, if I'm just doing a general smudging, I just use sage or sweetgrass. But if I'm going to go into in depth with something that is pretty intense, I use a different medicine that it's called ghost medicine, and it's a different medicine you use to clean out your house, because it's the smell, the essence of these medicines that the spirit world can smell too. And they don't like that smell. The negatives don't like that smell. So I use that medicine. I use it to smudge my home and my family, make sure they're all taken care of and safe. And I think positive though. Always be positive, because you don't want to be negative against something negative.
Right.
Yeah, because it turns to positive. It turns the negative energy more positive, so it'd be more stronger.
I always use Palo Santo and sage, and I say, let only love and light enter this home, and I go through the whole house.
We've been on here an hour now, so
yeah, I know you have things to do. I don't want to keep.
But if you guys have any more questions before I go, I can take a couple more.
There's one question from the audience. Ufi says, is there a name for the experience where a Native American spirit sits inside a living person? And if so, what is that?
Oh, no, I've never seen that before. I never heard that done before. I think other tribes practice that, but I've never witnessed that for myself.
Okay. And what does the smell of tobacco mean when no one is smoking nearby?
It means the loved ones around you that used to smoke. My great grandpa does that. He used to smoke one of those corn cob pipes.
Really?
He'd had tobacco in it and he'd be smoking it. He was blind. He'd be smoking it, singing. And then I'll smell that same smell sometimes, and I know he's around. So I say, "Oh, Grandpa, it's good to see you. Good to hear. Good you came." And then I always put out spirit food, spirit plate. So I'll just, whatever I'm eating, I'll put a little piece, a little pinch, and I'll share it with my grandpa.
Okay.
I say, "Here, Grandpa, like that."
Yeah. My father, I smell some cigarette smoke in my house, and I don't smoke in my house. Nobody smokes in my building. And I know it's my father.
Yeah.
And I say, "Hey, Dad, come on and sit down and watch TV with me," something,
She said, thank you very much for the answers. We had that happen. We went to an old Victorian homestead, and my husband was standing behind me, and I could feel someone even standing behind him. And then immediately I started to smell like an apple with wood and tobacco. And they used to mix all of those together in a pipe so that they could smoke that, which was really interesting. And I didn't know that they mixed everything together, but then I told them that that's what it smelled like. And they told me that they mixed everything together and there was no one in the room at the time.
Wow.
Only my husband and I smelled that, which was really interesting.
Mm.
Did you have anything you wanted to share or promote before you leave us? By the way, my daughter owns a horse and she loves everything on your clothing line. So I think we're going to be really broke.
Awesome. Well, it's good for good cause. Well, as we, enter these holidays, to understand what they're about and what they mean, to look at them and see, it's family, it's human beings, it's people, it's your animals, it's our Mother Earth. To give thanks and to give back to, and to be good to each other. And nobody's perfect. Nothing's ever perfect because you're not meant to be perfect. You're meant to learn. You're meant to be useful. And life is not meant to be easy. It's meant to challenge you because we're meant to grow, evolve, to be better people, and to understand the journey, the mind to the heart, is to think with your heart. When you make a decision, take a thought. Feel the emotion in your heart in a good way. Be good to yourself all the time. It's important.
Thank you very much for that.
That's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That's very
I'd
wise.
love to
That's
have you
very
back
wise.
again sometime.
And we're having our annual coat drive, so you can go to my website, lakotaway.org, and
Okay.
you can donate or send a coat to us. We're here in Colorado. We're giving coats, or if we can give something, that'd be good, because it's cold here, so cold everywhere, and people are living on it. There's more homeless people today than ever, so we gotta
That's
start
true.
remembering that. There's
Absolutely.
veterans too,
Mhm.
so we give
Yeah.
coats to them. So if you can donate, appreciate that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And what was your
Okay.
website for everyone who wants to know?
It's lakotaway.org. It's LAKOTAWAY.org. And you can also go to faradybrand.com and buy merchandise. You can also order my book, Think Indigenous, and it promotes and also provides for the people when you do that.
I've already ordered your book. It's on its way.
Awesome. All right.
And my husband would love to talk to you sometime, I think.
Okay. All right. Sounds
Thank
good.
you so much for being with
You're
us,
welcome.
and sorry for taking your time away. We really loved having you so much, and we'd love to have you back again sometime.
Thank you.
That'd be
Take
awesome.
care.
Good luck with
Thank
your
you.
move.
Thank you.
Bye,
Okay,
Dad.
good night. Happy holidays.
That was awesome. I love him.
Yeah, that was great. That was, very interesting. Very knowledgeable.
So he
Yeah.
does amazing things. That's awesome. I'm sorry he
Yeah.
had to go, and I wish I could have had him on here a little bit longer with us. But what did everybody think? Tell us. Thank you for that, Ufi. Lakotaway.org. And I'm going to send the other one. I think it's Saturday. His clothing is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I looked at his things with the blankets in there. That was really nice.
Yeah,
One is
gorgeous.
really. To keep my wife away from that, because I will go broke.
Yeah, I know, right? He's a huge fan. He's a huge fan of this stuff. Beautiful stuff. I mean, like, his music is amazing. Like, it makes you want to weep when you hear him. He plays the flute. He sings. What an amazing soul, though. I mean, the guy is the kindest human being on the planet. And how true, though, when he said that, when you do something like that, you're just provided for. I don't know if anyone else has done that type of work, but it just seems like you just end up with money in your bank, or you end up with a 50 in your pocket for, you go through an old coat or something. Like, it just happens that way. But
it's awesome. He
love
was
this
very
guy.
interesting.
He really is. And
Very interesting.
but like, the Denver stadium, he packs the place. Absolutely packs this place. And he's the most down-to-earth human being on the planet.
Yeah, that was nice. Everything he said tonight he gives a lot of wisdom to us and a lot to think about. You know.
I was literally
Yeah.
in a trance. Like I couldn't speak. I couldn't speak at all, which is not normal, as you guys know. So I mean, not like you, not like you, Anthony. But we normally talk over each other, but
I know we talk over each other, and I try not to talk over him. You know, I have he had too much to say, and
but
you
like
know,
he doesn't.
it was very interesting.
Yeah,
You know, I didn't want to interrupt him because I just want to hear what he had to say.
I know.
You know, I mean, he's doing all this stuff. You know,
Where do you have time to do all of that? No wonder why he's tripping over boxes while he's moving and forgets to be with us. I'd forget to be with us.
and then he made time to come on too, which
Yeah,
is
he's
he's
like legit.
filling stadiums, and then he has time to come on with us too.
Yeah, the two of us. Ho and hum.
It's like,
You can be
man.
ho. Let's see, Maureen and Anthony, what do you think of the concept of Vision Quest? What do you think?
What is Vision Quest?
You
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Listen.
Ho hum.
Oh no.
Ho hum. I am not sure what Vision Quest is. Is having a vision?
Wasn't there like a TV show or a movie, Vision Quest? Listen.
There was a show called Vision Quest.
I don't think I'm stupid. I'm having trouble thinking because I've literally been that sick. If I can tell you that this is my best day yet, this is like 100% for me compared to how I've been. I thought I was going to the emergency room yesterday. Todd was pissed that I didn't go. It wasn't COVID because I couldn't have COVID because I've had COVID 3 times and it wasn't like, and I tested negative 3 times. So I think it was just like the worst flu on the planet and I was coughing up lungs, like pieces of it. So Ufi, if you'd be gracious enough to not make fun of the woman and tell us what.
Seeking answers in one's dream. Oh, so that's what Vision Quest is?
Seeking answers and well,
okay.
I've had dreams where I've interpreted it down to like the exact thing that was going on in my life and it actually was happening and that's how I figured out what was going on and it was correct. So if that's what you mean, then yeah.
Yeah, seeking answers in one's dreams.
Do not make fun of anyone intentionally.
Yeah, no.
Just making fun of us intentionally.
It's don't worry about it. Hey, we're here. Yeah. But I mean, with dreams like that, you know, dreams, and they do come true. And, you know, what I think of that, I mean, it has happened to me in the past. You know, you dream about something and it happens, maybe not right away, but it does happen. I do think mind has so many, you know, we don't use much of our mind. What we use, like 8 to 10%. In my case, sometimes 5%, you know, take a little, but, you know, our mind has so much more that we don't use. So, you know, when you dream, yeah, it maybe does tell you the future or something that might happen in the future. So I think that it's possible.
I had to interpret a dream to figure out what was going on in my actual life at the time, which I didn't know was happening. And that's what made me figure it out. And then I had to like delve into it to get to the point of what was happening. And when I found out what was going on, I was completely shocked, and that's what made everything explode. So if that tells you anything, that means a lot. But the weird part was the dream was very strange. I mean, it was like cartoon, a dog with cartoon teeth, and he licked my ice cream off my wrist at a carnival that was in my front yard. I mean, it was really bizarre. So to take everything and like break it down into pieces. Now, here's the segue to this. Next week, we are having a guest who's going to do dream interpretations.
Okay, great.
So this is cool that this is kind of like flowing into it. Is that a synchronicity? Perhaps.
Maybe,
So,
yeah, maybe it's opening for next week.
That is.
With dreams.
I'm trying to find out if we can get an answer for Ufi on her question about the Indian. Let's see. All right, wait. So we have, is there a name for the experience where a Native American spirit sits inside a living person? We will find an answer for this. I'm going to find out. So while we're still talking, this is what I'm doing. By the way, hello everyone that I didn't see come in. Marco, whom else? Did we miss anybody? I think, did Bobby come in at one point? Ty.
Let me see. Let's scroll back.
Ron's been here all along. I saw everybody talking about like mics and speakers and everything else. I can't see who's on Facebook watching. I know my husband's watching. Hi, Todd. I don't know if Izzy's watching yet. I saw Carol watching. Who else?
Yeah, I'm not on Facebook. I have the they call YouTube site here.
But I don't know. We didn't get any smart-assy comments from anybody else yet, so I don't know. Okay.
Bobby, Ron, Andy, Marco. That's who was on here. Okay. Lurking.
There's got to be people lurking because I keep seeing Facebook user and I can't see who it is. Native American. See, we're learning all this crazy stuff now. So anybody want like certain things to be talked about that we can get like really cool speak? We've had some awesome interviews.
Yeah.
The whole Malone frequency was cool. This was a really cool one. I'm trying to get Native Americans from another tribe so they could talk about like shapeshifters.
Oh wow.
Like Wendigos.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's not my favorite topic. Yeah. I'm not a big one on cryptids or Wendigos or Bigfoot or things like that. I'm more into like spirits and the unknown on that kind of thing.
But that's yeah, but some locations, there is like they might see Bigfoot, aliens, and spirits, you know. So sometimes they correspond with each other in certain locations.
Mm-hmm.
So you never know. Maybe, you know, Bigfoot is alien. That's that's a spirit of alien.
I was never even into aliens until I had that encounter of my own. And then I was like all in on that one. So I don't know, maybe although my legs are kind of Yeti-ish, so I am sick.
Oh, so you got white hair on your legs?
Oh my God, not white.
Yeti.
They're getting bad. Well, maybe more like Bigfootish. This is Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Ron says Wendigo. We have them here in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Do they have Wendigo in Minnesota?
They could be anywhere, I guess. And you know,
It's true.
I was watching that show. What was it? The Spirit. It was a ranch. Oh, what was the name of the ranch now?
I know what you're talking
I
about.
just went blank.
It's the one that
Yeah.
they always go to.
Yeah, and there's supposed to be a lot shifting there, and you know, spirits, and there's like everything on that one land. Oh, I forgot
So
the name of the show.
as we're
Wow,
talking, my husband is like a Skinwalker Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch. That's it.
My husband is answering everyone's questions like the good researcher that he is, or he just knows. So he says a vision quest, as we Western cultures know, is an umbrella term for a bunch of ceremonies, which are usually a rite of passage into adulthood, usually completed by a male in indigenous cultures. In indigenous cultures, it is a spiritual journey undertaken to receive spiritual knowledge and guidance. A Wendigo is from Algonquin lore. Skinwalker is Navajo.
Okay.
So maybe I should just have him on the show as a we could sit side by side. You can be with us. And then we could be ho and hum. You're ho, I'm hum. He can sit with me. He can be the voice of
Cool.
reason. And we can have a guest. We could just
You'd be sitting behind you, whispering in your ear, telling you all the answers.
he can be like the intelligent one with the voice of reason. And we can actually get an actual guest that is like, Doug, and then we could talk. So Oofy says, thank you, Maureen. Oofy, the cat was bigger than my Nissan truck. What is happening in this comments? You're welcome, Oofy. I'll tell Todd the same.
The cat
Thank you,
was
Todd.
bigger. Okay.
All right, so I looked up Indigenous American spirituality in the ecos. Two spirit people had to carry out Native American traditions in secret. I don't know. Ufi, I'm going to find that for you, and then I'll get back to you on that. Because I think I'm going to have to like delve into this. I think Todd's going to find it, though. Todd, will you look that up for me and find it? Or if you know something, will you let me know? He texts me and lets me know when we're here. So, let's see. What else can we discuss?
Spirits.
We love spirits. Okay,
yeah, I know. We're going into left field here again.
Anybody want any extra like ideas? Because I have a ton of ideas written down on things that we could do for shows. But if anybody has ideas, please let me know. Because
well, I'm going to be going next year. I'm going to be going to Conjuring House again.
Oh, are you invited? Really?
Yeah, we're going to be going in May, and then I was invited to get back in September, so I may be going back in September. So definitely going to go back there. That's an awesome location, and we had some activity, and there's a lot of Native American spirits running around in the forest over there, the woods. You know, you see things run from tree to tree, and there was a lot of activity there, and a lot of battles between tribes and between the settlers and Native Americans. And so, I mean, that location is one of the, not the most haunted, but it's up there, I
wanted to ask, do you think that if you have people who have abilities on an investigation, do you think that you're more apt to get
more stuff?
to get evidence? Or more, or more stuff?
Sometimes, not every time. When you have people with, I'm just depending on the abilities you're talking about. If you're talking about psychics, and sometimes psychics and paranormal investigators, it's good to work together, but sometimes it's the psychic, has so many readings that the investigator gets something, but the investigator wants to get something also. He just reads the psychic. So I know I do take a walk on my own a lot of times in locations to get my own evidence, because the psychic is just reading what's going on right then and there. They're getting a lot of stuff. It's all coming in on them.
But do you think it draws more? It draws more spirits in, and it brings in more energy?
On some locations, some locations have been so investigated that it doesn't matter what you bring in; it's there already.
Do you think?
But then you got locations that are not as popular and have as it's not investigated as some others. And you go in, say you go into like a private home, and you go into a private home, you start doing your readings, and yes, you will be getting stuff coming in, more stuff coming in, because that's not a location that's not over investigated. Now you go to an asylum or an old hospital, the stuff's there already. You might bring what's in that location to that one spot you're at, but I don't think you can bring any more in that's already there. It's depending on the location. You know what I'm saying?
So I don't know if you're aware of this, but Amy Bruni and Adam Berry on Kindred Spirits, they did an experiment where apparently all these people kept talking about this spirit, that they felt that these people created a spirit. So they thought, because these people kept talking about this spirit, that it created the spirit, that they were going to try to do the same thing, and it worked. Do you think that works?
I've seen it and I heard about it also. I've been to private locations where there's really the spirits are actually,
like, they're manifested.
The people manifested from the people that are there. Okay.
Energy. But isn't it matter cannot be created nor destroyed?
No. Yeah. But energy could be brought from a person. You know what I'm saying? If you got a group of people that are feeling oh wow, there's something here, there's something here, they're gonna, all that energy that's built up between all of them, it's gonna bring it out, and they're gonna start manifesting their own spirits within locations, and then then once they move and stuff, that spirit's not there no more. Or if they pass away, that spirit's not there no more. If it's a certain person bringing in the spirit, if they believe in it enough. I've been to locations where we don't get much. We do get a little bit, but a lot of times I talk to the people that have private homes, and sometimes stuff that's going on in their lives, and they want something there, and they feel there's something there, and they're manifesting their own spirits or whatever you want to bring into it, But I've been to locations where you could see people that are actually bringing their own stuff in, energy, some stuff.
Who's talking about? Okay, wait. Who's the Facebook user that just walked in? Hi, guys. Not feeling too good today, but wanted to drop in and say hi.
Hi.
Hi. But they created a good little link. So Ufi says, yes, the creation of a proto-spirit, plausible, everything is energy. That's called a tulpa.
What's called tulpa? Somebody bringing in?
What we're talking about. Marco says M&Ms are energy, and he said lint in my pocket. Energy. And the Facebook user says you manifest an entity.
Mm-hmm. I feel that you can.
Oh, it's Lourdes.
Loki.
I was like, this person's really freaking smart. Lourdes, hello. I'm sorry you're not feeling so great. I'm not either, obviously. But hi, nice to have you with us.
Hey, Lourdes.
I'm sorry, honey.
Yeah. But I feel that you can manifest your own things. And like I said, private residents, people, depending on their personality or their state of mind at the time, if they lost somebody, or I get a lot of times that a spouse dies and they all of a sudden the house gets haunted by their spouse. Sometimes it's not there. Not everybody stays behind. They can come back when you need them, but not everybody stays behind, and they do go wherever they go. I'm Catholic, so I believe heaven. Some other people might believe something else. It's depending what you might believe. So not everybody stays on this plane. They do go over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so that's how I feel.
She said, I hope you feel better soon too. Hey, Anthony.
That's Loki. Hey, Loki.
Ufi, my husband found something that just says spirit possession in Native America, Southwestern Journal of Anthropology. So it's leading back to spirit possession, but it doesn't really go deep into whatever the response is to that. I'm going to still kind of like look things up because this has me, wanting to dive into it further also.
Matter of fact, I'm going to be going to Conjuring House with Lourdes too. She's going to be
you
there.
guys are so lucky. I've never been there.
Yeah. Matter of fact, we're going April 14th to April 14th, going to the Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York, and we're going there for Lourdes' birthday.
Ooh.
So that's going to be cool.
That's
Haunting and cake. Nothing like it.
My two favorite things. I love cake.
Yeah.
Apparently, Native Americans don't really believe in spirit possession.
No. Okay.
That's what this is. That's what he's telling me. So I don't know if there's more to this, but we'll find out. I'll fill you in, Ufi, and then I will. I'll update everybody next week when we have our show, and I'll kind of condense it. Okay, thanks, Maureen and Spouse. It's an unusual subject. Not much info available. Few appear to experience. I think it probably is because maybe they don't believe in it. It's not really something that they deal with. My daughter was wanting to do a show about animals and like the lore behind it, like how Native Americans believe that if you have an owl fly over above you after someone passes away, what it means, or like what the symbolism is behind like black cats and things like that. And there's something
crows,
about
black crows sitting on your roof.
Yeah, and each number means something. And she was telling me about like what horses with their hair, their mane hair tied up means. It's fairies, and so she wanted me to do a show on that. So that might be fun to do.
That's good. I was in a book called Tales, Tail, Tales
Oh,
of of the other side. I think it was called Paranormal Pets. It was Pets and the Paranormal. And I wrote a story about my dog
okay.
that passed, and there's a bunch of other people in there that I wrote in the book. But I wrote a story about my dog Cookie and how she passed, and after she passed, I still heard her barking. And one night somebody tried breaking in, and we were all sleeping. I heard barking, and I ran downstairs and I flipped the lights on. The person took off, and they left a crowbar on my front steps. So
Right here.
yeah, I heard my dog bark. I heard Cookie barking. I'm like, and Cookie was dead maybe a couple of years at that time. I
Do you
heard her
not
barking.
remember, first of all, that's a crazy story, but do you not remember me telling the story about the woman who I did the tarot reading for on Thanksgiving? And I said she was like all flustered when she came in and she sat down and she was crying hysterically. And the first card I turned over and I said, I need to ask you, I'm hearing the word cookie. And she goes,
Hmm.
oh my God, that's my dog. And I said, your dog's name is Cookie? And she goes, no, it's Hamburger. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, Cookie's Hamburger. And I said, I'm sorry, I don't understand. Like, I may be a psychic medium, but I'm not a mind reader. And she said, like, Cookie was to most people, when we say, like, do you want a treat or a cookie? It was Hamburger to the dog. She would take the dog for a hamburger, and that was Cookie. And that's your dog's name.
That was my dog's name. Yeah.
And you don't remember that, like the story connecting at all?
No,
You
I
never
don't.
said, oh my God, that's my dog's
See,
name.
no, no, I don't know. When did you tell me? The last show?
I it was either last show or the show before, whenever.
Because I didn't speak to you on Thanksgiving.
Well, yeah, we didn't have a show on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
It was either the last show you were with me or the show before that. Because we did 2 shows together, right?
This is the second show.
I thought we did 3.
Mm.
But I remember telling the story and you never you never said anything.
No.
And you were like, oh my God, that was my dog's name.
Cookie was my dog's name.
For some reason, when you said that, I felt like this was a connected story for some reason.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's so weird.
Cookie was my dog. I gave it to me when I was 2 years old. She lasted till she was 18. Then they had to put it down. She had cancer. Yeah. So for 5 years before my brother was born, she was always with me. She was like my little sister. I called her my little sister. You know, my dog Cookie.
Well, that's
And
funny because Andy just said that Ron is a chimp. So does that mean that you were a dog?
if who?
Andy Morrow said that Ron is a chimp. So does that make you a
Ron?
dog? Is your little sister?
Oh no.
I'm coughing now.
There's a lot of dogs that.
Goofy said perhaps. Wait. Somebody said, "What is your spirit animal?" There is a question. Oh, that would be a good one.
Yeah.
Do you know what yours is?
I feel mine is a wolf because everything I always draw to the wolf, and I am like a pack animal. It's like, and one of my sayings is, "You throw me to the wolves, I come back the leader of the pack."
Ooh, I like that.
Okay.
I know what it is.
And so I feel, I'm a very family oriented person, and my wife always tells me I'm the alpha because I'm very loud, and every time something happens, I take over. So I feel, so if it's any spirit, it would be the spirit of the wolf, because I really, I got wolf statues and stuff.
Sea wolves and Like, do you notice them a lot? Because that's how they say that you'll notice your spirit animal a lot. You'll see them on the TV or in newspapers or on magazines, or you'll think of them or dream of them, or like you'll tend to kind of feel like one or relate to them.
I can relate to them more than any other animal, and the way they work together, and I feel that's family. You know, I'm very big with family, so I feel. As a matter of fact, I'm designing a tattoo for my arm of a wolf in a moon, a head of a wolf in the moon, and another wolf laying down with 3 baby wolves howling at the moon.
Oh wow!
Because I got 3 sons, so it's like more of a family type of thing for me.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah,
So,
that's it.
Since I was really young, I've always noticed this particular.
And I do bite hard.
I know.
I could bite hard too.
I know. But you're like a cuddly teddy bear too. Since I was young, I've always noticed this animal. It's a very rare animal, but it's always in my face. It's in magazines, it's on TV commercials. It's always come up around me. It's everywhere I go. And part of the word is my Chinese astrological symbol. And it's like it just comes up everywhere I turn. And
it's a Chinese
white tiger is my spirit animal.
Wow. You want to hear something? I'm born the year of the tiger.
So am I.
I think I got you a little before you.
74. 74.
62. I got you a little bit, huh? 74. Yeah, I'm the year of the tiger. I'm also a Leo, so.
I'm part Leo.
You're part Leo?
I'm part Leo and I'm part Cancer. I'm half and half. I'm on the cusp.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm Leo. I have the tiger, and I'm very drawn to wolves, so I'm a carnivore.
And I'm very drawn to cats, which is really strange. But this is funny how like this is all being brought up. Oofy says, perhaps if you dream of an animal licking you, it may be related to healing. Oofy, so here's my thing about that dream. This dog that had cartoon teeth licked my hand, and then it coiled. When I looked back up, I went to lick my ice cream, and I looked back down, and it turned into a coiled snake, and it popped up and bit me on the throat, and that's what woke me up. And I couldn't breathe, like I was out of air, because I still felt that when I woke up. And ironically, my dream was this bizarro world where everything was really bright and I could feel everything even after I woke up. So when I put all of this dream together, the funny part of this was the ice cream was sticky, just like what was going on in the situation. The dog with the fake cartoon teeth that are like chiclets. Everything about the situation was fake, just like the situation in life. The snake was just like my partner, and he was cheating, and I caught him. But I didn't know any of that at the time. So You're right. Part of it might have been the healing part, but like this air was just cut off and I couldn't catch my breath, just like in life. And that dream is what made me catch him, because I broke every little piece down in the dream, and I figured it out.
Well, a snake biting your throat is usually a good signal.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a very good signal.
super stressed out about other stuff, but that's what brought me to it. And thankfully that dream happened, and I was a true believer in this stuff. So this dream analysis thing might be helpful to other people. Hopefully Ron is not a chimp. I don't think Lady Gaga is psychic. I've had several people say they have seen my dog that I used to have. That's sweet. Ron, there are a lot of dogs that look similar. Yours is that monkey on your newspaper clip. That's interesting. Annie, Lourdes, you can join us on ERRT Radio, YouTube. You can stay here if you like. Okay. Goofy, Andy is referring to when I was in the paper with the monkey at the Oakland Zoo in California. That's something to be, I don't know. Should we worry about that? We knew it would be an obscure reference. Free crowbar. I was less than 2 years old. Ron still has a memory. I was told I have a wolf as a spirit animal. So you and Ron have the same spirit animal. Can people have more than one spirit animal? Yes. My other one's a spider, which I hate spiders, but it means you're creative. You can have a couple. It's a skunk? Who is this a skunk? Goofy says, ooh, right tiger. Yes, I love that. Andy,
White tigers are beautiful.
Oh, what is?
The white tigers, they're beautiful animals.
I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, of course. Don't you see the raspy voice, the nappy wet hair. Caterpillar. I don't think a caterpillar. I don't know. What can you do with the caterpillar? Well, Maureen, that's some good dream interpretation. Yeah, no kidding. Nothing to do with healing. Well, I did heal after that. I got rid of him and dropped him like a cinder block on the curb. And then I'm not going to tell you what I did after that. I could go to jail for it. I think mine is wolf and elephant. Yeah, it could be both. It really can. I don't know. Maybe we should do something with that then. Maybe we should do something with spirit animals.
We could.
There's a woman who's she's psychic with animals too. She could speak to animals.
Oh yeah, there was a show, I remember on one of the channels. It might have been the Animal Network, and she actually worked with animals, and she did read them. So that'd be interesting.
I think that would be cool. We could all get our animals. We could have I don't know if she'd want to talk to mine.
I'll bring my dog over here. Can you read her mind?
Mine ate a tube of toothpaste today. He's crazed. Like, I didn't think that a dog could be this nuts. He gets yelled at 1,000 times a day, and he just doesn't calm down. I don't know what we're going to do with them. I think we need to, like, tranquilize them. Has anyone ever used, oh, wait, we forgot about this. Has anyone ever used a sound table, sand, and modulated it with the output of a spirit box in order to visualize the spirits and let them draw images? A Tesla radio plus a sandbox, sand table. Have you ever done that?
No, I never used a Tesla radio. I've used a coil quite a few times, but never a radio. And that sounds interesting because, I mean, that would be interesting.
You'll never guess what I have in my basement.
A radio?
Water and sand table.
Yeah. I mean, vibration. If you get a big speaker, you put sand on a big speaker, and you throw different sounds on it, it makes different shapes. It makes different shapes. You certain vibrations, and it's really something how that does. That might be a good idea to try on an investigation. See what sounds and make some kind of, you put sand on a speaker.
What's the thing that we used to play with when we were little? Etch-a-sketch. I wonder if that would work. Does that have sand in it?
I guess, yeah. I mean, you have to turn it upside down because then the spirits are not going to be able to move those little knobs.
Right. So it would do the same thing though, because it has the sand and it's balanced. If it would like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Same premise, just smaller
Yes.
scale, right? Oh my God,
That
we're making
sounds
moves
interesting.
here.
That's interesting.
Oh my God,
Because
Maureen,
you know the guys I work with, Ron and Tony, Ronnie Yacaretti and Tony Rathman, they're big with radios, so well, maybe I'll talk to them about something like that.
So
Even Katie Helte, she built radios. She builds, stuff. So maybe I'll talk to her too. Maybe she can make something.
Well,
that's not a bad idea.
All right, so what do you need for that? You need what, just a spirit box?
Yeah, a spirit box, or maybe they could work with one of their radios.
Spirit animal is a Care Bear.
A Care Bear? He's a Care Bear, yeah. Well, you laugh, but one of the trigger objects I have is a Teddy Ruxpin.
Is it actually Teddy Ruxpin or is it Boo Bear?
No, Teddy Ruxpin. I don't have lights on it. I bring it as a trigger object and I keep a camera focused on it so it could move or get knocked over, whatever. But it's a Teddy Ruxpin. So I mean, a spirit of a child would be drawn to that. Even any spirit might be just
I always
drawn to
it. Why Teddy Ruxpin wouldn't just be used, because it's the same thing as Boo Bear. Really?
Yeah. Well, Boo Bear has the senses in it to light it up. It has a rampart inside it. That's what a Boo Bear pretty much is. It has a rampart that if you touch a certain area, it lights up. So it's pretty much a rampart with a teddy bear body, And a Teddy Ruxpin, I have just regular trigger objects. I just put it down, and I have different type of trigger objects too. I got Teddy Ruxpin, and I got Beaker from the Muppet Show. I got Beaker. Also Stripe from Gremlins.
He's one of
I bring him along. Yeah, I got him.
I understand. I'm not the typical female. My husband is like so disgusted with me over Christmas because he's like Kris Kringle, and he's like, my wife hates Christmas. She's the Grinch. So I'm sitting on the bed last night, and he's watching every Hallmark movie imaginable, and I'm going, I'm a mean one, Mrs. Grinch. He's like, you just hate Christmas. And I'm like, I loathe it. I can't wait for Krampus to come. Like, this is just, so anything that's like anti whatever he likes, I'll go for it. So like Stripe or whatever, that's me. Like anything cute, no, it's not gonna happen. So Stripe is good. Like that's my thing. Ms. Grinch, that's me.
Yeah. Well, I like Christmas, so I watch my shows and everything. I had to watch March of the Wooden Soldiers on Thanksgiving. That's my favorite. I've been watching that since I was a child.
You could come and watch with him. You could cuddle up on the couch with your heated blankets.
It sounds good.
He's so excited for Christmas. It's not even funny. I
already got gifts under my tree. You kidding? I got gifts already under my tree. My kids are a little too old for Santa anyway, so I got gifts packed and everything, so I'm all set. I still got more stuff coming, but
he sees a picture of Santa. He's like, I know him. So we'll have to do this whole thing with, like, this is a cool idea. So I have this sand table. I just need to get sand. It's all like packed up and it has the legs and everything. Just pour the sand in and we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, you would have to get an extended speaker underneath it or something like that, or just get a. Yeah. Anybody play guitar in your house?
My husband plays air guitar.
Oh, that won't work too well.
He thinks he plays
because I was going to say, because if you get a PA and you can put it underneath, and then you hook up a spirit box, something like that, and something comes through, maybe the words form into some sort of vibration. Did Lourdes just say that? Lord,
is Ron Yacovetti's spirit animal because he's an actual breathing Care Bear.
Freaking Ron. Yeah. Lourdes, she just texted me. I didn't forget you, Lourdes. I'm sorry. I also, work with Lourdes Gonzalez with the radio with Ron Yacovetti and Tony Rathman and Cherry and all them.
This is an awful lot of free advertising, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I advertise everybody. Why not? Lourdes is one of my favorite people. Her, Ron.
What is their new thing going on that they have?
It's the. I'm going to say, Ron, if you're on, advertise. It's just, yeah, they do like a he has a name for it. It's like a radio. He does his radio, and he does like he does the radio. What's it called? I'm so brain dead. I don't know. He does his radio, and they do like a seance with his radio. Digital seance, they call it.
It's called Staticom.
Well, Staticom, so that's with Tony now. But he does digital seances, and I think he's going to be doing it at the Ritz Theater in January 2000.
Digital Seance Initiative, TDSI.
Okay, see? Ron knows me by now. And yeah, they're going to be in Ritz Theater in January of 2023. So they're going to be doing it at Ritz Theater in New Jersey. So they should be. It's interesting. I've been in a lot of their shows with that and stuff. I've been part of. But yeah, it's very interesting how him and Tony and Lourdes Gonzalez, how they're actually making this thing. Something that was from the early 70s that was started with this old Italian gentleman, Bacci, in Italy, and was kind of like forgotten for years. And Ron read a couple of books, and next thing you know, he's brought it back. He brought it back much better. And wow, I just, some of the stuff he gets out of there, it's different than a spirit box, because he actually uses static. It's just the static from the radio, from like shortwave or long wave, something like that. But it's a static, and he feeds it through a radio, through a computer with a program, and you got words come out. It's like a whole conversation. It's really something how they really do it.
Yeah.
And so
I would love to see how that works. And like, just, I mean, I've seen it because I've been to his speaking and his speaking engagements and his lectures. And of course, Lourdes, we love you guys and we want to have you be successful. But like, I would love to just sit and talk to it just to see what comes out and, be able to experience it for myself. And so I think we
should get them on the show.
Well, I did ask them, and they said that they're kind of putting December away for the holidays and taking a break.
Oh, sure. I remember you guys when your show's on.
So
We'll get them.
but I would love to, go out and see them in January, possibly if I'm able to. Ufi says, has anyone ever incorporated a Markov model into the circuitry of a spirit box? The Markov model. I mean, I'm not the tech guy here. You're welcome, honey.
Incorporate
What
model.
is the model? I have no idea because I'm not techie. I'm like lucky if I could plug a hair dryer in these days.
No, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I haven't come across anything like that yet. So
If I look at it, maybe I'll understand.
Markov model.
Markov model is a stochastic method for randomly changing systems that possess the Markov property. This means that at any given time, the next state is only dependent on the current state and is independent of anything in the past. I don't know if that made it worse for me or better for me.
This particular can complete sentences. Okay.
You're good with electronics.
Not yet. Not. I haven't come across anything that could complete sentences until what Ron does with his boxes, which I heard whole sentences. Well, Spirit Box, I heard whole sentences also. It's depending how you read it. But with Ron's what he's been doing with the DEC, the direct radio communication or direct communication radio. That's it. Direct communication radio. He's gonna be calling me up later on, Ron, and yelling at me. But on Ron's radio, I mean, he had a thing on his show not too long ago that they got at the Shanley Hotel. It was like whatever was trying to get them on the radio was kind of trying to warn them about something, and it was like a 10-minute conversation that the radio and sentences, complete sentences. So it was interesting, but
it's not predictive because there's no way, like they don't have enough words stored in it to do like a 10-minute conversation. And Lourdes, you can correct us if we're dead wrong here, but I think what's happening is that there literally isn't a way to do a predictive text like with a phone because there is no way to store enough words in this or to store words in this.
Well, I know Katie Holte and Steve Holte working on stuff like that. So if anybody could do it, they can.
And I don't think that there are no store words. But there isn't a like spirit translator, and there isn't even a foreign word translator. Like you literally, the spirits speak in the language that they spoke in when they were living. And I think you can even ask them to speak in the language that you speak in, or maybe they're not able to sometimes, or you're going to have to get like a translator. So that's just the way it works.
When it comes to spirits, and I know listening to Ron talk, spirits actually do speak. If they speak another language, they will come to you in your language. And I mean, I come across a lot of times where you get the language. I come across other languages also, but most of the communication that we had actually from somebody that didn't speak the language that's speaking to you, it's in your language. So sometimes it's a crossover, but it will come out in your language a lot of times.
Yeah. I think you can ask them to speak in your language and they will, like with spirit guides, you can tell them to change languages, change accents, change the speed that they're speaking. And you can kind of do that with spirits as well. But I've had, like, I've when we had Molly on the show, Molly has spirits that only speak in German. They can't speak in any other languages. And I don't know if it's that she doesn't, like, she can't speak German to tell them to speak English, or if they just don't know how to speak English. So she had to have someone help her. Like, that's just the way it works. But I think as far as like predictive text and having that, I don't know how Oofy worded this, like having a next gen version with predictive text. I think if it had predictive text, it would be speaking out of turn for the spirits, because that's not really the way that they're going to want to, you know, relay the message that they're trying to speak. They're wanting to be accurate. They, you know, and who's to say that, like, we want it to be honest. We want them to speak exactly what they want to say. Otherwise, we're going to look like liars again. You know what I mean? Like, do spirits have other spirits to translate for them? I've never had anyone translate for another person. It's not like a stand-in spirit.
I have used the app on the phone as you know, the translation, and you know, I figure I would try to get that if you could speak in a language, and some, you know, it doesn't always work out. But when you're speaking, they got these apps, and you speak into it in your language, and it'll tell you how to say it in another language. And you press it, and which I have used that with people.
I'll use that.
You know, and I figured, let me try that. Also, I used another app that is for deaf people that, you know, actually when they speak, it prints out the words so the deaf can read it. So it's another app that I tried that. You know, as an investigator, you're always going to try something new to try to get something. Not everybody has the answers, so if you have questions too, you always could go and try it yourself. You know, it doesn't, you know, you can you know, because as an investigator, because I was never trained in the paranormal. You know, I've been doing this for 30 plus years, so I was never had nobody to train me in it. So, and I just learned as I went along, and then years working with people, you see how different techniques are. But if you just go out and try it, I mean, there's always something new you could try. You know, I try different apps on the phone. I try different types of equipment. So, you know, as it goes along, and right now, like I said, Ron, Lourdes, and Tony are very close to, you know, communicating with them, and it's really amazing what they're doing. Really, you know. So
yeah, and even like what they do and what they try differently, I try differently as well. Like if I can't do something with this, I try something with this. If I can't do it with that, I do it with these. If I can't do it with those, I do it with this. If I can't do it with that, I do it with this. Like, we all have different methods. Sometimes I put this together with this, you know, like, because not everything is the right way or the right thing or the right combination or the right manner. I mean, like, I have everything I could possibly use to help somebody communicate with their deceased loved ones because I want them to have closure. So I will literally do everything I possibly can to help them connect, because I want them to have every answer that they come in to talk to me about before they go home.
Yeah, I mean, when I do investigations in homes, because I have people just want me to come in with my spirit boxes, and or one of the other boxes that, like I said, I got Katie, and Katie built me this nice box, the Orient box, and it comes out with words. But sometimes I just go into these houses, and the one thing they want to hear is the spirit box, because I mean, I had such people. I had this one family, matter of fact, their son, he was in the early 20s, and he committed suicide, and they just were devastated, and they asked me to come in. So I go in not promising anything, because I just don't want them to think I'm there to prove something that's not there. But I went in with a spirit box, and we were asking questions, and we found out that his kid's name was Billy, and he mentioned his father's Corvette that was in the garage, how he used to take it out, and his father didn't know about it. He goes, you used to take my car? It was like he was answering questions after questions. So the mother was like, I love you, Billy. And it came out, I love you, Ma. Just like that. And everybody at the table, the tears started coming down their faces, because that was such a moment that I love you, Ma comes out of the spirit box, and right after the mother said, I love you, Billy. So it was an emotional thing. So I come across, like, when I go into locations, like private homes, that a lot of them prefer me using the spirit box on a lot of the because I do go in. I'm a very big camera guy. I got all kinds of night vision cameras, and I like to see evidence also, not because just to hear it. I like to see what's going on. That's why I like my cameras, because I put them in location, and it picks up audio. So I got the video, and I'm getting EVPs also. And if my camera's in a room, I can see if there's somebody in the room or nobody in the room, and I can see if there's going to be contamination for somebody or not. So I guess that's why I like to have a camera going for EVPs. But I mean, the spirit box is one of the one things that when I go into location to private homes, it's one of the things I definitely bring, because everybody wants to hear it. I guess they want to hear more of the voice than anything else.
So Goofy wants to know, is time relevant for spirits when they use a spirit box to communicate? I don't think that they know time or
time loop.
I think it's a constant, ongoing thing for them, don't you?
Yeah, well, time loop is something that happens over and over and over in certain locations. You get a lot of time looping on staircases and the kitchen. Staircases, because people are always going up and down them. That's a constant in their daily life. And the kitchen, because the kitchen is where you have your substance. That's where your life is. Your food to keep you alive. And those are two places people go. And then you get a lot of time loops there. But with the spirit box, I think it's more of a intelligent, somebody that's more intelligent. If you're getting direct answer, can you tell me your name? And all of a sudden the name Mary comes out, and that's somebody that's really talking to you. So I think it's more, it's not a time loop. Except the time loop is like going over and over. But if it's more intelligence, that they give you direct answer after you ask a question. Or say knock, and you hear a knock, or anything like that. I mean, people do say it's, coincidental, but I mean, sometimes it's,
I don't think that they know what time it is, though, or like what date it is, or anything of that. I think that they just kind of go with the flow, and they don't know it's like 2022, or that it's December 1st, or that it's 8:20. I don't think that they know any of those things. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that they just.
I think they know their past. Maybe they know the last year they remember might be the year they died. You know, those are questions I do ask.
I don't know if everyone knows that they've passed away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think it just depends how traumatic things were. I think it maybe if they visit with their loved ones, if the loved ones say, you know, it's been 7 years since you've passed away. It's, you know, today is such and such date. Like if people remind them of those things.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that Anthony is saying is what we have to learn from. He tries everything over 30 years and as much a student as a teacher. We're all still students. We never fully know every single thing. If we did, we wouldn't still be here. We've learned our lessons. We would move on and we wouldn't have to keep going through this. Anthony, do you use them? Is it magnetometer built into your phone in spirit work?
No, I haven't used that on the phone because I actually have the actual meter. I haven't used it on the phone, but people have. Some people are dead against. Oh, you can't have your phone on investigations because the phone doesn't interfere with some of the equipment like iPod, RAM pods, and K2s, and some other equipment. But I mean, I'm not saying don't try it. You know, I haven't used it because I actually got the physical meter. But if you feel like you want to try it. But I haven't used that on you know, the stuff I use on the cell phone. I use my recorder because I always have my I use WavePad. Some people don't like it. Some people like it. That's one thing I've been using for years. It's a WavePad. It's an app. I download it. You get it for free. Or you can pay for it. I pay for it. So I could have a recorder on me. I'm not totally against cell phones being on investigation. You know, I take pictures with it. I got some nice pictures with the cell phone also. You know, but if people feel they want to try an app, try it. You know what I mean? Some of these apps are good. You know.
Every time I take my cell phone on any investigation, actually everywhere I go, I have my cell phone because if I feel like take a picture, it's spirit guides telling me to take a picture. I have something in every picture I've ever taken, everywhere I've gone. I don't know if I'm just lucky or if it's just that I collect things or if I'm just in a good place. I don't know, but I have stuff. And Lourdes and Tony and Cherie and Anthony and Chris and Audra and Ron, they can tell you. I've sent them tons and tons and tons of stuff to see. And I have stuff in everything. There's still more. I can't even send you enough stuff. I can't even, there's so much stuff I don't even know how to begin to send you enough stuff that I have. I mean, everywhere I go, I think I'm like a beacon for spirits. My phone has, I can just hit my recorder and go to the doctor's office and you'll have something answering me as I'm talking to my doctor. Or I could take a picture walking down the street and there's something there. It's insane what you can get with your regular everyday cell phone.
Yeah, I have done it. You know, because you know, being a electrician working in the city, I got into like locations where, you know, under the trade center, you know, as they were rebuilding the new buildings, I was part of all that. You know, I was doing all the security under the buildings. I had the SWAT card. That SWAT card is it's you know, they do a background check on you and see if you're clear to get into these locations. So I got into locations where not everybody got to. And I did EVPs there. I did my, you know, took pictures of, you know, see if I got spirits and stuff, you know. Also, at Mass Square Garden, a lot of places. So, I mean, if your cell phone can be a piece of equipment just like anything else, you know. You know, you do EVPs on it. You could do your pictures on it. Okay, you're not going to do night vision on it because, you know, some locations, but
No.
they do got stuff or cameras that you can connect onto your phones now. And they had it for a while, but you could get the thermal camera going on there, so you could get stuff going on with your cell phone too. So
take pictures in the dark and then just change the filters. And I think a lot of people forget that. I do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Maureen, what is your most reliable tool that you have used? My senses. My senses were heightened when I got sick, so I use them constantly. You'd be very surprised. Mm-hmm. These have been used for centuries to find water, but ghosts, spirits, whatever you want to call them, they're attracted to water, and they're also, these things are amazing.
Yes, yeah. That's how I started 30 plus years ago. Dowsing rods, a Boy Scout compass, compass, yes, because compass, it's a magnetic field, and that's EMFs, and a 35 millimeter camera. Yeah. So that's how I started in cemeteries. At the age of 13 years old, I was out there trying those things.
Anything that's really expensive. I mean,
no, you don't.
This is how I clear portals. I close up portals with this thing, or I find portals.
Yeah, I have that, all that. I have all that also.
So you're saying that you are, in essence, spirit coders, decoders.
Spirit decoders?
Spirit coders and decoders. I don't know.
Spirit.
Who is that directed to, though? Is that for like all of us, or is that for those who are?
I don't know about decoding or coding. You know, we do locate spirits. You know.
Maybe we'll go through these and see. Okay, and also this question for Anthony. Ron, it appears that Maureen suggests that no one tool fits all. I don't think that anything fits anyone. I think that you use what you feel works at the time or the place or for the person. True that everyone has a favorite. I think a favorite at the time. One person will have an affinity for a particular tool over another, depends on the individual. Perhaps I agree. Anthony uses the Katie Holte built Orion ITC talker box, phonetic sounds only, randomized, no words or radio reception. Is that true?
Yeah. Okay. And sometimes the first time I remember when Ron got his, and we went back to his house. It was me, Ron, and Lourdes. And Lourdes asked me, "Do you want a Red Bull?" And he took the box out, he turns it on, and it goes, Red Bull. It was like, where'd that come from? You know, and there's no microphone on it to even hear what we say. There's no anything except for phonics. It's nothing there. And it was like Red Bull. As soon as he turned it on, I was like, wow, he just repeated Lourdes. They just repeated what Lourdes said. Laura goes, you want a Red Bull? So yeah, and Red Bull. So, I mean, these boxes are amazing. Some of them are really amazing how they, you know.
Well, it says, I think Anthony's mom comes through a lot using DRV method.
Mm-hmm.
So would that have been your mom?
My mom comes through a lot, you know, on a lot of the stuff we do. Yeah, she comes through. My father comes through. My mom comes through. So.
Isn't doesn't that make you feel really good knowing that it's not the last time you'll ever get to talk to them because you hear from them every day? Like every time you use that, it's like there's no end to that relationship. They're still there.
I believe that spirits come and visit. I know I have my
You still
house.
get to talk to them. Like it's like having coffee with them every single day. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, my mom used to get mad because I didn't call enough. So maybe she's trying to get back at me, calling me now. Say, hey, now you got to listen. You know? So, yeah, she comes to a lot. My mom believed in all this. As a kid, I wasn't allowed to talk about it. As you know, I experienced things since I was about 3 years old, growing up, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000. Only 2004, people started accepting it because of TV shows.
yeah.
So I went through a long time not be able to talk about it, not even showing my evidence or anything I might have got. So my mom believed in all this, and she had abilities also. But, you know, the old Italians are like, no, the Fanuik. You know, it's like, yeah, you forget about it. Don't you talk about it. Hey, no talking about it. You know what I'm saying? So, bada bing, bada boom. And she, she believed in it. So I feel that since she believed in all this stuff too, so, I mean, she wants to talk to me, I guess she gets a chance. You know, and it's sometimes it's you know, you hear them and you remember and back, and it's awesome to speak to them, but it brings back memories, and some good memories and then some sad, but still it's like you want them physically here, to talk to.
If you can't have them here, this is the next best thing to it, and that's, I think a lot of people get super excited knowing that it's not over. There's still time to talk, even though, you technically wouldn't be able to necessarily hear them. And people like me can hear them for another person, but that may not be what they want. They want to hear that, I love you, Billy. I love you, Mom.
That's right.
Ron says, I have had good results with dowsing rods. I love that because I think that is a great, easy, cheap tool. Don't use the word cheap, inexpensive. And when I do that, I listen to my guides and I'm like, I feel like I have some kind of mental illness on a few different types of searches. Ufi says, what if everyone here has passed over and this is how spirit communicates in this afterlife? Well, here's the thing. I think that maybe that will become the thing. Like it's going to be like the ghost phone. Like, go call your mother. Like, hi, Billy. It's going to be the way.
Yeah. What's a...
It won't be as expensive, or maybe that like one $500 machine isn't that expensive to, invest the $500 or the $1,000 or how much, it's really not that expensive when you think about it, because how many of your loved ones have passed over? Look at your lineage and your family tree. It goes back to 1500 or whatever. You can call Genghis Khan. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to think back to that. And know that you can speak to almost anyone, like dial it up. You don't even have to dial. You just go, yo, Elizabeth I, I want to talk to you. What are you doing? Are you like drinking violet tea? Like, you can talk to almost anybody. That's crazy to think that.
Well, I'm telling you, Ron Lourdes and Tony, and they are very close. They're very close. They are very close. I mean, I can't believe some of the stuff that comes out of those radios. I mean, they're very close. So, I mean, with the next 5 to 10 years, I wouldn't be, those three, I wouldn't be surprised if they be the people that actually make it happen,
You're breaking up a little bit, sir. And these
Yeah,
are
I just see me go disappear.
and these are our
Did you
friends.
hear me?
These are yeah, a little bit. You're getting better. These are our friends, our amazing, beautiful, wonderful, talented, intelligent friends who, you know, they're getting to the point where they started off working with what Bocce was doing, and they're making it so that we can connect to the people who we loved more than anything in this world who are no longer here, and we can talk to them whenever we want to.
Mhm.
Thank you guys if you're still watching. That's so important to a lot of us.
Really a topic to people talking also about. Yeah. But I feel one day the industry is, well, if the paranormal field will be able to have some sort of conversation with the spirits, and like I said, people like these, and even Katie and Steve Hote. I mean, between the five of them, you know, there's gonna have to, there's gonna be something, you know, next 5 to 10 years, I would say. You know, they're coming close. They're really coming close. You know.
Yeah. Ufi says thank you to us. Ron says thank you for the extra time. Ufi says, wow, Spirit says take a picture and there's something in there always. Very interesting, Maureen. Let's see. There's new comments. Oh, they are still watching.
Oh, they're good. Hello, everybody.
They said thank you for your support. That's going to be a very expensive long distance call.
Yeah. Call collect.
Yeah, Genghis Khan can probably afford that one. Can you post links to the gear? What topics do people want to talk about most with regard to spirit communication?
No, spirit communication. Anybody that's doing spirit communication, every one of us that does that too is, I mean, also trying to connect to somebody that we lost, that we miss, that we love too. So, and you're also trying with spirit communication, you know, you're helping other people, and you know, you're giving them closure in some of the things they do. I had this one woman, well, two women, and I did a spirit box session for them, and there was a woman. She was like 84, 85 years old, and there was her daughter was like late 60s, and they lived in a house her father built, and she lived there with her husband. And he was an electrician, so I got he passed, and they all passed. The father and the husband already passed, so they want to communicate with the father or the grandfather. Well, I put the spirit box on, so we're all sitting there, and I was with my friend that was a psychic. He goes, "Who's here?" And then goes, "Walter." I'm like, they just said Walter. The old lady goes, that's my grandfather. And then she goes, that's my father. And the daughter's like, that's my grandfather. And like, how did the name Walter come out? And not only did it came out, he built that house himself from block to block. He built the house. It was out in Long Island. And so, I mean, they was like, at the end of the night, we got through a couple more communications with Walter, and we even got some of the stuff with her husband, because he was saying words that only she would know in certain things. And at the end of the night, she came up to me, the old lady, and she hugged me, and she goes, I never thought I would hear from either one of my grandfather, my father, or my husband ever again. He goes, I want to thank you. And you know how that made you feel? That made me feel, you know, that I helped this lady speak to them.
Everything.
You know, I gave
And she
him,
was
you know,
84.
closure.
She was
Yeah,
84 years old. Oh my gosh.
yes,
So think back to like how old that house would have been and what year her father was probably born in.
that's right. I mean, he probably from the 1800s. It was something like the late or early 1900s or whatever. And he bought that piece of land. That was just a piece of land, and he actually built the house. He was a builder. He liked to build. You
That's
know,
unheard of these days.
you know. So it was that was one of my like most you know, satisfying experiences I had. You know, I walked out of that place and the woman thanked me. She hugged me. She thanked me, kissed me on the cheek. And it was like, oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, my God. I was like, she's like, oh, my God, I never thought I would ever hear from them again. I never thought. And here you doing this. Then she wants to buy the spirit box and all this stuff. And, you know, just made me feel good, you know. And that was always the spirit box.
I think people think that what we do is either very scientific or very scammy or very snake oilish or like I think and Lourdes and Ron can say what they think about this because they're you guys are like more techie side of things and I'm more from like a very I think gypsy side of things. People look at me and they don't know what I do, and then when they hear what I do they think of me as I think they look at me and they are either like when I'm dressed up, they think I'm very like the mayor officiant, whatever. And then they see me dressed down and I'm like soccer mom, whatever. And then when they find out what I do, they're like, oh, she's a gypsy snake oil salesman, whatever. You guys are like the techie, they're just trying to sell machines and see what they can like maybe like the predictive text type of thing. But really what we're doing is we're trying to connect people with loved ones. That's it. We're trying and we're doing it. And I know that there are people out there that are scammers. And I know that there are people out there that are so nefarious. But when people do, when they really do meet us and like knowing how we all are and like meeting all of you and knowing you, we're like the most loving people on the planet. And so true. Because I know you are like one of those, get the hell going. I'm very in your face if you're like gonna jerk me around. I think that's how everybody else is. Like they'll tell you to get going. But we're very protective of our people and we're also very loving. And we're not the people who are going to take your money and sell you on the market. We're just very honest people who just want what's best for other people. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to give people closure. Like that's it. We're trying to give people closure and find what's best and put it all together and work as a network, really. Like that's why we found our little network that's why you and I and Ron and Lourdes and Chris and Audra and, Cherie and Tony and like, it all just kind of like worked. It just.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to, it costs me more money than anything to go do somebody. If I do a house for somebody, I try to help people.
We're not millionaires.
You know what I mean? it's like I pay for my own gas. I pay for my equipment, just my equipment alone. The batteries alone is unbelievable in price sometimes. You know,
Yeah.
so
I think people think that we're
with
pulling
scamming or
money out of their
something.
wallets and shoving it in our wallets, and like that's not it at all. We don't make a lot of money doing what we do. We like barely get by doing this, and we really love what we do, and that's it. Wouldn't you say?
Hmm. Well, if I didn't, I wouldn't be doing it. It's like,
This is
I
not a
wouldn't be doing it if
job.
I didn't love it. I mean, this is something I've been doing since I don't know. I mean, I've been out there, like I say, age 30, 13 years old, curious in cemeteries by myself at nighttime, because I didn't want nobody, didn't tell nobody I was doing it. People, I mean, I've been so secretive on a lot of stuff I've been doing throughout the years, and even show my evidence out there because I went so many years of not be able to show or anything because people were very judgmental. I mean, I mean, I had people in my neighborhood as a kid, and I tell them what I was trying, interested in, looking for, and I lost friends, and I was telling them I was looking for the devil and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, hey, so I'm starting to, now I'm showing, I actually, this is something new with me. It's not new. I've been doing it for years, but I was just introduced to. I'm gonna probably be doing a show with my all my drawings that I've done through the years. I'm doing with Richard. Oh, I forgot his last name. Very he works with Ron all the time too. He's an author and stuff too. Matter of fact, he was on their show last week. Um, and he asked me to be part of his show because he does the same thing. He draws art. So I'm going to probably be part of his show, and I'm going to be doing it in April at the Ritz Theater also. So stuff I kept it through the secretly through the years because too many people put me down, and uh, I just stopped talking. You're gonna put me down. I'm not going to deal with you. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not to me. To me, it's like you're not worth even the. You're gonna put me down for something that I believe in. You're not worth it to me.
I'm
I'm not
sorry.
gonna break your chops.
I don't know if
You
this
know,
is Lotus or Ron, but it says little fat kid running through the cemetery. Not that good.
that's Ron, Mr. Ron Yacovetti. I told the story on the show the one time, and he's been repeating those lines to me forever. That's Ron. Yes, definitely Ron.
Love it.
Yeah.
Ophie wants to know if anyone has ever read the Grey Walker series of books. She said, we are acquainted with the author, very nice human. No, I haven't, but I'd be interested.
I'm not much of a book reader.
I
If it's
don't
not
really,
on TV,
I don't have a
you
ton of
know.
time. I have lots of books
You see how strong my thumb is?
though.
Yeah. I'm not. I'm a very slow reader, and matter of fact, I'm blind in one eye. So when you read
I
with
can't
one
see out of
eye,
the other.
you get tired very quickly, and so
That's what we used
you
to
know,
say when we were young, and we would bust on everybody. Blind in one eye and can't see out of the other.
yeah. Well, I really am blind in one eye. So that happened because I got electrocuted years ago on the
Oh my
job.
gosh. You
Yep.
know what? You're another person who has been electrocuted and has abilities. Wait,
Well,
who did I talk to about that?
I was born when I was born. I was 6 months old, and I was born. I was almost died at birth, and then 6 months old, I had a hernia operation. I was 6 months old, and I almost died on the table there too. Um, and besides that, I was born with two different color eyes. I have a blue eye and a green eye all my life. Until
Oh,
I went blind in my blue eye. You know, now I just got the green eye to see out of. But yeah, I had two different color eyes all my life. So that shows abilities. I mean, I know people told me that's come I have abilities because I had two different color eyes. So I don't know how true that is, but you know, and I almost died at birth.
So did I.
You know, yeah.
And I had a veil.
You really?
Yeah. And I almost died at birth. I wasn't
Yeah.
breathing at all.
Really?
Yeah, very interesting. We only have, well, we have 10 minutes before another show starts. So do you want to start wrapping this up?
Sure. Sure.
Okay. So thank you
Okay.
everyone for being here tonight. And we're happy that you hung in here with us for the 2 hours and 50 minutes that we talked incessantly about nothing as usual. I swear it's like the Seinfeld show. The show about nothing. I'd like to thank Doug Goodfeather for being with us tonight. He was a great guest.
He was an awesome guest. Yes.
Really awesome guy. So next week on Incantations and Elixirs, where conversation meets cocktails, I hope I'm better than this because every time I laugh, I can't stop coughing. And every time I'm with you guys, I laugh like hell. So next week, we have dream interpretations with the lovely blonde from Paranormally Blonde, Dee Dee Jabrail. She also hosts the Haunted Hour, where they do a couple polls on Sundays, and you can check her out. She's mostly on Twitter, but she's a sweet gal, and she's going to be with us. So she's going to be a lot of fun. She's a great girl. So get some dreams together and give her a shot and see what she can throw back at you. But be nice.
If I give her some of my dreams, she's going to have nightmares.
Run. She might run away. But please be nice to her because we love her. And get some ideas together for some other shows coming up in the new year. And until then, this is Incantations and Elixirs, where conversation meets cocktails. We are Maureen Grodzinski and
Anthony Simonelli. What?
And we hope to see you next week. Thank you for tuning in. Good night.
Good night, people. Forget about it.
Forget about it.